All right, guys, Bradford Perry here. Hey, listen, we're about to talk about behavior, which is I live and breathe that side of it, okay? Because, hey, listen, behaviors are things that we do, and there's always reasons behind it, okay? And it's our actions that we do, and we can control that, whereas we can't. Control other people's behaviors, but we can control how we respond to things, and understanding why we do certain things is really important, I believe, to help us grow. So when we look here, I read a book, Teach Like Your Hair is on Fire, great book. If you're a teacher out there, check it out. But it talks about these 6 levels of behavior, okay? And so the first thing I want to start with, listen, none of these are bad. All right, and so if you're doing something because of these things, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad, and I'll explain that. But they kind of get a little bit as you mature. You know, you've got to be a little bit more mature to get to that level 6. And so when we take a look, level 1 here is you're doing something out of fear. So whether that's, you know, your parents say, hey, if you don't do this, or your teacher says, hey, you're going to lose recess if you don't do this, or, you know, that's that level of fear. It's not a bad thing, okay, necessarily, because listen, I don't drive like a maniac out there because I have a fear of a ticket, not of driving crazy. I drive crazy, it'd be fun, right? But I don't want to either cause an accident and hurt somebody. I'm scared of that, or getting a ticket, okay? So that's where that level 1 comes in for me, and I function out of that when I get behind the wheel, okay? That's what I'm in that level 1. Level 2 would be reward. Okay, that's when somebody's like, hey, if you do this, you get this. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But that's not why we should be doing things. But there are certain times in life, like, listen, if you're working, that reward is the paycheck that you're trying to get, right? So we want to have that reward. You know, whether your teacher or your parents, you know, they might be trying to see you succeed. That's their reward, and that might be why they're doing something, and that's okay. All right, now level 3, rule follower. Hey, follow the rules, right? Well, sometimes we have rules put in place that go against you know, certain values that we have. So for example, if there's a rule that is hurting another individual, and it's, you know, keeping one group up here and one group down here, that's probably not a good rule. And so in our history, we've had people that have challenged some of those rules, and not just, you know, following it blindly and not doing anything about it. We need people to challenge rules sometimes, okay? So being a rule follower, not a bad thing, okay? But also challenging unjust rules, that's okay too. Now, the people pleaser, okay, number 4. This is those people that, you know, they're only gonna do something if somebody else is around, so that person says, hey, great job. And hey, listen, do I like somebody telling me I did a great job? Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. But if the only time you're doing the right thing is when somebody's looking, you might be right here at this level 4 people pleaser, you know, and then when somebody's not around, you might be making poor decisions, okay? So we want to make sure we get past that level. And then level 5, my actions impact others. Like, listen, hey, if I don't want to do something or get out of bed someday, you know, I might be like, it's my life, I want to do it. Well, listen, okay, my life, as we looked at those layers, if you've watched any of my other videos, listen, my life is layered with all these different people in the community. And so if I'm not doing my part, like, listen, somebody else is getting impacted by it, okay? And so, you know, if you're in a regular school environment, maybe this is something happens in the classroom, teacher says, hey, we're not leaving and going to recess until this gets done. And maybe you have one kid who's like, yeah, I don't want to do it. And then everybody kind of pays the price. That could be a problem. Or if the teacher has to stop instruction because somebody's doing something, or maybe somebody's sleeping in class. You know, it happens, all right? But if it's happening all the time and people are paying the price for your behaviors, it might be something that you want to kind of look at and say, hey, you know what? I might not feel like doing it today, but for everybody around me, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, even though I'm having a bad day, because I know it's gonna help them out. Okay, that's that level 5, my actions impact others. Looking at this level 6, okay, listen, level 6 behavior, this is where, you know, you have your own personal code of conduct. And listen, that doesn't just come out. Like, you have to develop that. You have to think about it. You have to say, hey, what do I want to stand for? When somebody describes me, well, how do I want them to describe me? And then what does that look like with the actions that I do? Okay, so for example, I mean, one of the things that drives me crazy is littering. Okay, so if I walk past some litter and then I don't pick it up, okay, which trust me, I do. Okay, I'm telling you guys because I want to get better at it, right? But like if that's in my personal code of conduct, like listen, my actions got to show it that I care about the environment and I want to pick stuff up, whether it's mine or not. Okay, take that time and do it because that's in my personal code of conduct. But if I don't sit and write it down and think about it, then I never develop it. So hey, I got an activity, you guys should check it out, or do one on your own and just try to, say, hey, these are the things I want to stand for, maybe how I want to treat people at home, how I want to treat people in the community, at school, and sports teams, things like that. And then, think about those different layers of where you spend time, and then your well-being too. Like, I always think about, for my own life, physical well-being. So like, hey, if I want to be healthy, am I exercising? And put that in my personal code of conduct. Hey, I'm going to do this every day and make sure whether I'm eating right or drinking water, or, keeping those goals small and reachable, but putting them in there and saying, hey, you know what? This is important to me. So we've got the physical, emotional, spiritual, so emotional, how I'm going to treat people, and kind of handle myself, and then the spiritual, what are the things I'm going to be doing? Am I helping others? Am I doing things that are going to feed me as I fill other people's buckets? So that's something that's important to me, and so I want to put that in there. And hey, challenge you guys, do that activity, develop that code of conduct, and get out there and get to that level 6.